I wish I knew about moving to Salt Lake City before moving to Salt Lake City. Now, there is so much slander whenever it comes to the food scene here in Utah, and on some occasions that is definitely warranted. Whenever we first moved here, it happened so much to us. We would Google restaurants, we would see amazing reviews, we would go there, and it would be the most mid-meal we've ever had. But now that we've lived here for almost 3 years, I actually think that the food scene here is underrated. It does take a little bit of research, but we have found the best dinner spots, the best coffee, the best bars. Some of our favorites, just to name a few, we've got Arlo, Ochre for really good dinner. You can go to Loki for really good coffee, TF Brewing for an amazing brewery experience. Utah will turn you into an outdoorsy person. Before I moved here, I didn't hike, I didn't know how to camp, but everyone here takes their outdoor hobbies very seriously, whether it's skiing, snowboarding, mountain climbing, trail running, camping. People here are so serious about their hobbies and so serious about being outside, and it's honestly so inspiring to be around. Salt Lake City is in one of the best locations ever because we are in the foothills of beautiful mountain ranges, and so we are less than an hour away from ski resorts like Deer Valley, Snow Basin, Brighton, Solitude. We have amazing heights just 20 to 30 minutes away, and coming from Texas where everything is flat, everything is just buildings, concrete, this has been one of my favorite things about living in Utah. If you aren't LDS, it is okay. As you know, Salt Lake City and the surrounding area is a huge hub whenever it comes to the LDS faith, and while Salt Lake does have the most absurd drinking laws and the LDS faith does have an impact on the overall culture, it doesn't hinder your life, your quality of life in any way. I have come to find that Salt Lake is filled with transplants, ex-mos, people that still practice the faith, and everyone is just so nice and has been so welcoming.
Sugar House in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm literally purely coming on here to tell anyone who's considering moving to Utah or to Salt Lake but they don't know where they should live. Sugar House is quite literally the best location to be. I'm probably a little bit biased, but I lived in Utah my whole life and I've lived in Sugar House for the last 6 years, and there's quite literally nowhere else I would ever want to live in Utah. I just wanted to come on here and say that for anyone considering moving here, because I know when you're like looking at like different people's opinions of like where to live, it's hard to kind of figure that out. So I'm here to say the only location or only place you should be living if you're new to Utah, Salt Lake, Sugar House.
You are moving or just moved to Salt Lake City, listen up. I have lived here for the past 4 years off and on. I'm from Utah, born and raised, so I understand kind of the cultural differences, but also I travel for work. So also I know I've been to many cities in the country, and I just always go back to Utah. I always go to Salt Lake City because it is so much fun once you understand how to play the game in Salt Lake City. The game in Salt Lake City is you have to be social. You have to talk. You have to know how to small talk. You also have to know how to be confident in yourself. Let's say you like to knit. There's probably a knitting community here that is like influencers of knitting. Like the influencer population here is so crazy. That's why there's Salt Lake City housewives, there's the Mormon wives, there's so many shows in Salt Lake City, because literally to be in the social circles of Salt Lake City, in any social circle, you have to have this almost TV-esque personality, and that's why people move here. The culture is really behind the church, and the church is very much perfection. The church is very much, you always have to look and put on a smile, put on a face, and have this demeanor, talk, cadence to you that everything's okay, my life's perfect. That can get a little bit damaging at times, mentally, yes. That's why the winters are crazy here. But trick number 1, go outside. Find whatever you like to do. Let's say you lived in Miami and you like to go to the water. Go to the lake and just chat with someone, not just like boring chat, just talk about me. Ask them about themselves. People in Salt Lake City, once again, they like to be perfect. They love talking about themselves. Ask them so many questions. Ask them, oh, where are you from? Oh my gosh, you went there. Just keep on talking. It might be superficial, but what you'll find is once you meet one person in Salt Lake City, you know the whole city. They call it Small Lake City for a reason, because it is so interconnected. So it's a trick to get into Salt Lake City, social clubs, social events, meet the influencers. You have to know someone, but also you have to be willing to play.
I have never had this feeling of wanting to live somewhere so badly that I get like emotional and excited, and I just feel this like pull to live in this place. I want to live in Sugar House. I want to own a home in Sugar House in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I'm very specific. I don't want to live in Salt Lake. I want to live in Sugar House, and I know exactly what street I want. I like that Hollywood street. It's called Hollywood, that street area. Everybody is so cool there. And it's so eclectic and musical and artsy, and lots of little hole-in-the-wall foods. People are cool. People are walking their dogs at the park. People are painting their houses different colors, posters and art, and I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I can't even articulate it. It's just, it's more than words. I want to live in Sugar House. I'm going to live in Sugar House. I want to live in Sugar House. I'm going to live in Sugar House. There is a house in Sugar House for me. And I don't know which one it is, but I'm going to go home and start packing. I'm going to start packing today. I'm going to end up there. I don't know how. But I know how to wait for the good thing. I know how to wait for the good thing, and the good thing will come. But you know what else? The universe also knows how to support me quickly. I don't know if I know anybody else who can manifest faster than me. Anything that I want, I can get. Anything that I truly, truly want is mine. And that is the biggest obstacle for me. Knowing exactly what I want and focusing in on it. Once I can do that, it's mine. And you guys can all come over to my new house in Sugar House. Caleb
moves to the same 5 Utah neighborhoods. Here's where I'd send my family. First one is Draper. Top schools, newer builds, and you're basically at the trailhead every morning. Families love it out there. Second is Daybreak, one of the largest master plan communities in the country. The lake, the trails, the tracks access, it's basically made for families. Third, downtown SLC. If you want walkable, cultural, actual fun, this is the place for you. Comment Salt Lake and I'll send you the full homebuyer breakdown on all
3 things I wish I knew before I moved to Salt Lake City, Utah. Number 1, the inversion. The inversion is pretty bad in the winter. This is due to the fact that Salt Lake is shaped like a bowl in the valley. So naturally, the pollution is going to be trapped and it takes a storm to be pushed up. Number 2, that the Great Salt Lake is expected to dry up within 5 years. And at that point, it will be emitting toxic chemicals into the air that will most likely affect our breathing and our lungs. And the third thing is that winter lasts literally from October to April, sometimes May. I'm not sick of this yet, however, because where I came from, I was used to the cold, and we're still very much loving all the snow. Let me know if you want
5 things that people warn me about living in Utah. I've now lived here for 3.5 weeks, so I'm going to give you my opinion on them. One of the biggest warnings that I got moving to Utah was that traffic was absolutely horrible and unbearable. I have driven in rush hour traffic. I've driven to and from downtown Salt Lake City. I have gone, to the airport, to and from, driven in like the hardest times. It is not as bad as 494 in Minnesota. 494 in Minnesota is literally any time you drive on it will be rush hour traffic. So traffic is not as bad as I was expecting based off of what people told me. The second thing everyone told me is it's very hard to make friends. I have only been here for 3.5 weeks, but I will say I've already started to make connections. I think one of the main things I tried to remind myself, because I was so nervous about this, is you just have to go out and be in public and be part of the world. My husband and I, we have hobbies like pickleball. I like dancing. I've not gone dancing yet here. We went to church right away. And so I feel like going out and being in the community and being in places where I'll meet people has made it a lot easier, that I have already started kind of cultivating relationships. And I do feel confident that I'll be able to make friends the longer I'm here and the more kind of activities I get involved with. So not as bad as I was expecting based off of what people told me. Number 3, housing is very expensive. Yes. Yep. Nothing to add there. Number 4 is people just saying that this winter is not like normal winters, and usually the winters are a lot more harsh. So this winter has been like 50s and 60s, and it's been gorgeous. However, in Minnesota, I'm used to like getting into the negatives, and most of the time it's between 0 and 20 during the winter. So everyone has said the norm is around 30 plus for the winter, and I can handle that. So while I know this winter is not normal and I should expect it to get worse, being used to Minnesota winters, I think I'm going to be okay. And last thing people warned me about was the drinking culture. They said it's very weird. They have weird drinking laws. It's very strange. The couple things that I've noticed is that you have to present your ID anywhere you go and people are ordering alcohol, no matter how old you are. You could look 100 years old and you still do have to present your ID.
which is not a thing in Minnesota. They can kind of just gauge and guess that you're old enough. But to me, that also doesn't feel that weird. It's like, okay, everyone has to present their ID and show that they're legal so that on the back, if it says like you can't drink, they can catch that. And the other thing is that it has a lower DUI limit. I've seen that I think it's 0.05 here, where in Minnesota it's 0.08. But I don't drink, so it's not really been that big of a deal. So I'm sure as I'm here longer, I will learn more things and probably develop even more opinions of my own. But so far we've loved it and really enjoy living here. So if you are new to Utah, I would love to hear your opinion and if you have kind of the same experience that I've been having.
That no one will probably tell you about Salt Lake City. Our air quality, especially in the winter, can be horrible because we are located between mountain ranges. The bad air gets stuck, and it's especially bad in the winter. If you have poor lung health, it can be especially miserable, and it can also lead to headaches. It's not rare that we have red air days. You can see the air is not very clear here today. Questions, comments, leave them below. Follow your lifelong friend in real estate for more tips.
Comments lately asking for advice about where people should move to if they are moving to Salt Lake City. So like they want to know what neighborhoods, where to be. And before you get pissed, like don't tell them, you know what? Oh, what can I do to stop them? Nothing. So I'm gonna help them. This is my super condensed guide to neighborhoods in Salt Lake City. Let's get into it. First up is the Avs up on the hill. Gorgeous old Victorian homes just like this. A lot of character, definitely an older neighborhood. The streets are really brutal to walk because the incline is real. The Wells, most houses are in walking distance to this park. It's like our central park of Salt Lake, Liberty Park. Lots of bungalows, kind of an artsy neighborhood, and great coffee all around. 9th and 9th neighborhood is definitely eclectic. Tons of bars, restaurants, boutiques, shopping, and of course, this bad boy is right in the center. Neighborhood and Glendale neighborhood are really close to the freeway, easy access there and to downtown, and are also home to some of the best underrated restaurants in all of Salt Lake. Town kind of speaks for itself. You are the center of the city, tons of restaurants, bars, shopping, of course, and you have a lot of public transportation options with tracks. Much like 9th and 9th, Sugar House has its own kind of downtown area, so tons of dining, restaurants, bars, businesses, coffee shops, and of course they do have a park as well that's massive and gorgeous. South Salt Lake is blowing up. I think it's gonna be like the next kind of like big neighborhood. I'm running out of time. Let me know if you want a part 2.
Salt Lake City. I have never been anywhere with worse policing. You do not need 3 squad cars per block in a place where people are afraid to drink coffee.
Spent a week as a 23-year-old living in Salt Lake City. Groceries, I spent just over $100. My rent and utilities divided by week is $475, and then I also got charged for Wi-Fi. I went out for drinks one night, but they got paid for it, and then I went out to eat a few times. It was $42. For activities and entertainment, I didn't pay anything. I hiked and hung out with friends and swam and stuff. I paid $50 to fill up my car and then $22 on parking and Uber, $66 at Target, and my gym membership for the week is $250.
Anyway, Salt Lake City is one of the best places to move to. It's because it's extremely safe. No one here can beat me up. Everyone here is a big pussy. You know you're in a safe spot when the most violent person is Taylor Frankenball.
Things I didn't know about Utah before moving here. Number 1, if you're going 10 miles over the speed limit, you're still too slow for the fast lane. Even though the speed limit here is really high, too slow. Get out of the way. There are a lot of types of cars, but what I see the most is Subarus everywhere. White Subarus. And guess what? I moved here and I got one. People drive everywhere and everything has a drive-through. People drive to my community pool that's like 2 blocks away. It's wild. This one kind of shocked me. A lot of people who grew up here do actually know somebody who is a polygamist, even in Salt Lake, like not just down south. It's kind of interesting.
Place to live is generally where your friends and family are. Outside of those things, there's no one really best place. It depends on a lot of factors and what you're looking for. Smaller cities will have a lower cost of living, but there will also be less to do. Quality of life is subjective. Do you value career opportunities, good climate, amenities, culture, personal space, or some other things? Decent climate and avoiding crowds and congestion is important to me, and that's why I live in BC.
The number one mistake that people make who are relocating to Utah. If you are relocating to Utah, you need to make sure that your ducks are in a row and everything is buttoned up. Let me tell you what I mean. First, you need to at least visit Utah. You need to know where you're moving to. I recommend coming in the winter where it's at its worst. If you come in the summer or the spring or even the fall, you're going to fall in love way too fast and not realize that it does snow here and that it's a desert. The second is not talking with a mortgage lender when they first come here. You need to talk to somebody to see if you can keep your house in the other state or if you have to sell it. And if you have to sell it, we have to schedule times where you're going to say, okay, I'm going to sell my house this day, I need to buy a house by this day, and see if there are other loan options. We can look into bridge loan options that allow you to buy a home without having to sell your house first. And so that makes the transition a lot easier. If you're looking to move to Utah within the next 6 months, send me a DM or leave a comment, and remember to follow for more Utah relocation tips.
I don't understand why so many people hate on Utah. I've grown up here my whole life, and it feels like everyone around me is just saying, I can't wait to move out of Utah, or they hate the people. And it's just like, what city in the US looks like that? Unreal. Some of the most beautiful mountains. I mean, how can you not go outside and just be so grateful and so blessed that you live here? I don't understand. It makes no sense to me.
Things I love about living in Utah as someone who's not from Utah. Number one, nature. The outdoors is absolutely beautiful, which brings me to my second thing that I love about Utah, the health and wellness of the people here. There's really a pride in being active and eating better and having these options available to you. Number three is going to be the safety. Now, this may be contrary to Utah natives, but for me as a Detroiter, Utah is one of the safest states I've ever been in, and this is the safest I've ever felt living in an area. Number four is going to be the business opportunity. It seems as though there's endless opportunity and support for small businesses. So I really love the entrepreneur spirit of the people in the state.
Crazy. And listen, don't get mad at me for saying this, but I was just chatting with two gals from Minnesota. They are just moving to Salt Lake City, and they were like, honestly, this is not what we expected at all. Everyone that knows that we're moving here from Minnesota is asking us why, but we kind of see it now. And I'm like, yeah. What? I don't get it. Like, Salt Lake is such a hidden gem. It has everything you could possibly want. Access to the outdoors, 4 seasons, city life, mountain life. It's pretty affordable when you consider the cost of living across states, especially in comparison to like metropolitan populations. Public transportation is pretty good. It's incredibly clean, and I think we know why it's incredibly clean, but still, it's incredibly clean, and it's safe, and it's beautiful. And our airport is like 15 minutes from like most places. I love
here. I moved to Utah and I signed a 12-month lease. I left after 10 months, and not because of the place I lived was beautiful. I loved it. Utah is beautiful. The people in that state ruin it so much for everybody else. Like, oh God, it's horrible.
City is by far one of the best cities I've ever lived in my entire freaking life, or even visited. So I'm gonna give you guys some recommendations if you guys are thinking about leaving here, or if you're just trying to visit. So the first cool thing that I knew about Salt Lake City is when I came here, there is this thing called 9th and 9th. At 9 o'clock on 9th and 9th, 9 p.m. on Thursday, everyone in the city gets together and they ride their bikes around town. It usually ends up being like a big party at the very end. Sometimes there's DJs, sometimes they're doing random stuff, but it's really, really freaking cool. The next thing is, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that the bars close at 2 a.m., but the other thing you guys can go to is this thing called Plum House. Every time you go into Plum House, you're definitely having a crazy night. You're not making it through the next day, but the night's gonna be amazing. So Plum House, it happens at like from 2 a.m. until after, so don't worry about the bars closing. Okay, so a couple of canyons if you guys are into bars and like meeting people. There's Big Cottonwood, Little Cottonwood, and there's Mill Creek Canyon. Mill Creek Canyon is by far my favorite, and like the leaves are changing and it's super beautiful. Big and Little Cottonwood, I believe that's where like the ski resorts are and stuff like that, so definitely go hit that up. Back to the bars, you can tell I really like the bars. The bar row is essentially like Shades, which is like really popping like all the time. Then there's Chakra, there's Green Pig, there's the Boiler Room, there's Sky, and a bunch of bars like right in that area. So if you just really hit Shades International, like those locations, there's also a pizza place called the Pie Hole, which is delicious. You guys can go there. And then if you guys are gonna be out here, make sure to rep the Utes, because like there's like 1,000 colleges up here, like from Santa Keen all the way up to Logan. There's University, USU, there's UVU, BYU, U of U, Westminster, Weber State, Utah State University. I don't know if I already said that, but there's a bunch more colleges. There's a bunch of colleges out here, so the demographic's really young. So